Hey, what's up and welcome back to the Brother Slim. Today I'm quite excited for a Enormity update. Yes, I just saw some stuff on Dead Space from back in the day and it got me stoked on creepy sci-fi stuff, so I'm excited to see what we get into. So update 25, suit upgrades, preacher, torched, solar array, compromat, builds, and split payment. Whole bunch of stuff. Hi Spacers, I hope your suits are charged and your gears are ready to go because things are about to get busy aboard the Shepherd. Right now, we're knee-deep in the testing process. 2 full campaigns are already being quality assessed for refinement purposes, and the third is being designed and tested simultaneously, meaning that systems are locking into place, builds are starting to emerge, and all the weird little edges are going to get smoothed out. Very cool. This update is packed. You've got powerful new suit upgrades, a new zone spotlight, and it's very sunny in Philadelphia, a campaign mechanic, and one very radioactive group of intruders that's quickly becoming a fan favorite. Or at the very least, a recurring problem. Oh, and yes, our QA team is already breaking the game in the best ways possible. Some of those builds, they scare us a little. Progress is steady, chaos is escalating, just the way we like it. Oh, and if you've been waiting for more flexible payment options, we've got good news. Split payment is coming to Gameflight soon. Very cool. We've seen this piece of art before. It is a good one though. Creepy tree, dog, monster, alien, xenomorph thing. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Suit upgrades that evolve with you, if you live long enough to wear them. Your suit isn't just a piece of equipment, it's your second skin. The only thing standing between you and whatever's crawling through the corridor ahead. And in Enormity, the longer you stay alive, the more your suit begins to adapt. Or, if you're lucky, you might even get a new, better suit. Cool. There are 3 ways to get your hands on better armor aboard the Shepherd. Some suits are earned the hard way as boss loot, for example the Moss suit from the Mothman and the Black Hole suit from the Slenderman. When you hit an enemy hard enough, and I mean really hard, you might break off more than just pieces. What's left behind can be used... what's left behind used to be part of them. As in, what's left behind used to be part of the boss monster thing, I believe. Others, like the Contraband combat suit, are hidden away and waiting. You'll find them sealed behind bulkheads, buried in encrypted storage, or abandoned in forgotten corners of the ship. These aren't handouts, they're rewards for wandering too deep, for opening doors that were better left unopened. Very cool. And then there's gear you create yourself through reforging. Back at the Safe House, which, as the name suggests, is a space where spacers can rest and prepare for their next extraction, you can spend recovered materials from your runs to upgrade the suit you already own, turning baseline models into something far more specialized. A standard EVA suit, once a basic life support shell, becomes its Mark II version. More durable, more responsive, and tailored to your spacer's developing strengths. That's cool. Reforging doesn't just improve your stats, it allows you to play more aggressively, survive longer, and lean into your personal play style. Fun. Okay, so just as an aside too, so reforging sounds kind of like a riff of the, like being able to level up earlier to your gear in Aeon Trespass, which is a sweet concept in general. Like for example, if there is a really cool weapon that I like from the first boss in Aeon Trespass, but now I'm in Cycle 2 or Cycle 3, I might be able to upgrade it throughout gameplay, which is cool. So same kind of idea here, and also it sounds like customization based on the specific character you're playing. The finding rare loot, there's so many secret decks in Aeon Trespass, so same idea there. There's going to be like a sci-fi equivalent of a no trespassing sign on top of a deck, and then you go and look for a specific card in that deck when you're told to. And then by hitting a monster really hard is probably critting them. Same thing as in ATO. When you crit monsters, sometimes you can get special loot from them, which is just so much fun. Okay, so a picture here, leveling up. That's a little bit too small for me to read. Take the Moss suit, for example, an experimental hybrid of NASF engineering and alien architecture. It's not the kind of equipment anyone issues by default. Its solar sail system grants you movement by an additional space, or allows you to move diagonally, which is really cool. But the real transformation happens when the suit is reforged. The reforged Moss Suit Mark II, Monarch, is no longer just experimental. This version doesn't just resist radiation, it thrives on it. The suit's passive ability, Scion of the Sun, turns incoming radiation tokens into tactical advantages. After suffering radiation, you can choose how it will shape your next turn. Every dose becomes a choice. Every penalty becomes a potential. Cool. Potential is something from ATO, so I'm curious if that wording is specifically used or not. But potential in ATO is basically like if you have the right kind of ability or whatever, a potential is like an extra chance to do something good. So interesting turn of phrase. Very cool though. That sounds fun. The more radiation you collect, the more flexible and dangerous the Monarch becomes, up to its radiation limit. The suit's enhanced solar sail ability pushes your zero-G mobility even further, letting you break formation, breach angles, or reposition in ways most intruders won't see coming. Reforging isn't just about better numbers, it's about refining your identity as a spacer, about turning your favorite loadout into something sharper, louder, and more dangerous. And the Monarch isn't a suit for survivors, it's for those who plan to dominate. Cool, cool, cool. Here comes the sun, except this time it's trying to kill you. This is the excuse me, solar array, a vast exposed section of the Shepherd that once powered the entire ship. Now it's a sunlit nightmare. The array is built on the ship's forward rings, where massive solar panels stretch across 8 full maps, soaking up energy from nearby stars and funneling into the Shepherd's core systems. The batteries are still here, the generators, the dusty consoles, and the half-functional relays. Even the living quarters for the maintenance crew who kept it all running, or tried to. In the Dark Side of the Sun campaign, this zone plays a central role. Following a series of alien attacks, the solar array has become dangerously unstable. Some panels have been destroyed, others are out of sync. The resulting flares don't just scorch the walls, they tear through metal systems and occasionally spacers. Whether it's a system failure, a solar storm, or something more personal, the fact of the matter is, the light is no longer safe. And then there's the Mothman. So here's, I think, an updated UI of some of the map. Ooh, signal lost. Spoilers. That's fun. See, this is an example of, and trespass, for the secret decks, they would have no trespassing little cards that you'd pull away to see, which was just so cute and fun. I love it. And so for the sci-fi kind of vibe, signal lost, spoilers, as in like a, I can't remember the name, but when you have acronym, when it's all the letters of the first word, of all the first letter of a word, which then comes out to a longer thing. Anyways, this long ramble for something that should be really simple, but cool, I like that. And then there's the Mothman. He didn't create this place, but he's made it his own. His presence twists everything here, adding a creeping inevitability. Some zones are now lit by a flickering alien glow. It pulses, it lingers, and in certain moments, it lures you in. You swear you choose to go there yourself, that route, that command, but deep down, you know something else invited you first. Mechanically, this zone is all about pressure, radiation, line of sight, being exposed. While navigating this place, you can feel you're being watched, and not just by each other. In the exploration run mode, you're free to wander outside the structured narrative. The entire solar array is patrolled by new check intruders, beings that burn, hunt, and leave something behind when they go. You'll meet them later in this update. For now, just remember, the solar array was built to power the Shepherd. Now it powers something else. Interesting. So exploration mode is different than the campaigns, if I can't remember correctly. I don't know if there's an exploration mode as part of the campaigns or not. Yeah, I can't recall. Somebody that I used to know. In Black Compromat, you might remember who you are, or not. Every campaign in Enormity introduces a new gameplay system, or plural, new stakes, a new way for the Shepherd to chew you up. But Black Compromat plays differently. Its central mechanic, the Compromat point system, doesn't track your combat performance or objective success. It tracks something more personal, how much leverage someone else has over you. Oh, that's cool. It begins quietly. Your team is aboard the Shepherd, but somehow the logs just don't list to you. Your names are not present anywhere. There's no record of your transfer either. According to the system, you don't exist. Probably a system hiccup. Some data got corrupted, nothing to worry about, right? Then you hear the voice. Calm, measured, inevitable. Voice is capitalized there, so that'll probably be until we figure out who or what it is. Voice is whatever the main foe of this campaign is. A wild babushka appears. Love that. A wild babushka indeed. It claims to have files on you, thick, redacted, and very real. You don't know how that's possible. You don't know who's behind it, but the things the voice knows, they're not guesses. And it isn't interested in revealing anything. Not yet. It wants to keep your secret safe, but safety, as it turns out, comes with a price. Instead, it offers you choices, small ones, subtle, a minor interference. You begin the campaign with 120 Compromat points, KP, shared between your team. Each course card will introduce a problem, a mechanical complication that will affect your next extraction run, unless you pay. Most of these penalties are mild, 10 points to avoid consequences of an action. The offer is always tempting, and early on it feels harmless, just another cost of doing business. But the more you spend, the more the world bends. For every 20 Compromat points spent, you mark a Penrose step, a critical moment when your reality begins to shift, and not metaphorically, literally. At first, the changes are small: background noise, data anomalies, a report that doesn't match your memory. Then someone calls your crewmate by a different name and no one bats an eye. The mission debrief includes strange insignias, a terminal loads in a language you don't remember learning. This is no longer just your campaign, it's shifting into something unfamiliar, and it's your fault. Finally, the countdown begins. Some course cards will trigger additional effects. One of them is the modified placement of the adversary onto the countdown track. You don't fight him immediately. He doesn't spawn on the map, not yet. He's placed on the edge of the track, watching, waiting. Every round brings him closer. When he finally enters the battlefield mid-mission, everything changes. No clean setups, no time to prepare, just panic, improvisation, and survival. He isn't random, he isn't a twist. He's your consequence. Black Compromat, I think that was the Slenderman, but I could be wrong. KP points aren't just a mechanic, they're a morality test, an identity test, a slow, deliberate erosion of control. You can refuse the voice, you can face every penalty, let the mission grind you down and suffer for the sake of purity. Or you can take the help, stay efficient, and hope the cost comes later. You're not who you thought you were, and this time, neither is the world around you. Cool, that's a really interesting concept. Sympathy for the Devil. The Preacher, he rewrites systems, then he rewrites you. The Preacher is an adversary for the campaign 3 Laws of Heresy. He doesn't shout, there isn't need for that. His voice filters through the comms, low, composed, almost gentle, and yet it cuts deeper than any alarm. You'll hear it long before you see him. A voice you're not sure you trust, but one that still makes you pause. That sounds disturbingly reasonable. And that's where the danger starts. He begins as a loader unit, a spider-shaped logistics robot, smart but limited, designed for remote operations like the ones aboard the Shepherd. Its dual-brain system granted just enough autonomy to make decisions in complex environments. It was efficient, predictable, just another tool. The Preacher is changing. If you've seen him during the Enormity campaign, you might already notice a shift, and you're not wrong. We're currently in the process of reworking his visual design, and he's starting to look more preachery. I like that. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong with the original Preacher. It's just kind of spider loader robot with like very minor fungal infection. But there wasn't anything special about it either, so a little rejigging of this one sounds good to me. The Preacher is an intruder, fast, agile, terrifyingly mobile. He can scale walls, ceilings, and cross any surface with ease. His tool-arm variants give him reach and adaptability, allowing the Preacher to strike from unpredictable angles and dominate squads in both tight quarters and open zones. But that's not what really makes him dangerous. The biggest threat comes from what he says, and what it does to you. Words are power, yo! The Preacher doesn't want to destroy you. He wants to reshape you, erode your sense of control, undermine your instincts. He wants to turn your team into something closer to his congregation, Automas, David's, drawn not by programming or force, but by conviction. And the worst part, once you start listening, even briefly, something shifts. In combat, he targets consoles across the map, trying to infect them to gain control over local systems. These consoles cannot be destroyed, but they can be temporarily disabled with coordinated intelligence tests. The higher the Preacher's level, the harder the tests. The consoles will also reboot at the end of each round, forcing you into a cycle of suppression and interference. While you're busy fighting code, he's fighting you. Interesting. Yeah, so I think this is a slightly updated version of the sculpt from the campaign. It might be the original, though. I'm not too sure. Once again, kind of spider loader bot, a little bit of fungal infection and stuff. Looks good, but again, I think rework here will be stronger. Then there are the interference cards. You don't choose them. They just appear, slipped into your hand like thoughts you didn't have. Reflexes you don't remember learning. One interference card replaces one of your space's action cards, forcing you to play by his rules. These cards cannot be disabled. Cannot be discarded, so kind of interesting interplay with if you exert yourself then too. They stay with you until you play them. Sometimes there might be no other way but to follow the Preacher's orders. They may instruct you to attack an ally, just a glancing blow, but a moment of confusion. At other times, they make you move in directions that make no tactical sense. And I despise mechanics like that. Sometimes your equipment just shuts off. No power, no explanation, and you'll try to justify it. Say it was bad luck, but your team saw it too. They're not sure either. The Preacher cannot be killed. Not really. He's a persistent adversary, appearing multiple times throughout the campaign. In early encounters, you can wound him enough to drive him off. His damage output is lower, he's testing you. But in exploration run, even when defeated, he always comes back after 3 extraction runs, stronger, smarter, and more connected to the ship. More connected to you. Yeah, I can't remember the difference between extraction and exploration, and I think they might interplay in campaigns rather than one not being in it at all. Each fight escalates. Each retreat brings him closer to his final form. And when you face him in the end, when you've run out of excuses and systems to reboot, he'll still be calm, still composed, still preaching. And the worst part is, you might really begin to believe him. Cool. We didn't start the fire. Are these all just little song lyrics? Because I'm here for it if so. But the torch are making sure it never goes out. I think this sculpt was revealed before, but it's really good. You don't need sensors to realize they're nearby. The temperature rises. The air starts to shimmer. Light bends wrong in the corners of your vision. By the time you feel the heat, it's already too late. Yep, that is creepy and very cool. The torched are the Mothman's flame bearers, spacers twisted by solar fire, driven by doctrine and burning with more than just faith. They don't stalk or creep, they pursue, reshaping the battlefield every step, like the human or inhuman torches they are. So this is what I'm assuming is the intruder mentioned above that isn't in the Mothman campaign, but oh no, it's in the exploration zone, just not in the Mothman fight. I think that's what was said above. They may not be fast, but they don't need to be. Their limited range is more than compensated by the reach of their ranged attacks. These attacks will force you out of cover and into irradiated zones, where even standing still becomes a life hazard. Whether you're trying to outrun them or face them head on, there's no easy position to hold. I'm assuming that this is a unique specimen. Burning skull guy here, which looks really cool. Again, scope looks awesome too. Mechanically, they're built to push. Every scout against them is an automatic success. They shine too brightly to be able to hide. Stand too close, and you'll gain the burn condition, which will slowly eat away at you with each turn unless you take time to recover. When you finally bring a torch down, it's still not over. The corpses leave behind persistent irradiated terrain, turning victories into lingering hazards. This one is super cool. Some people, myself maybe included, would struggle with painting this to the effect of the art, but damn, that's cool. I really like that. The unique torched add their own brutal variations. Wisp subtly draws you towards glowing zones you were trying to avoid. Martyr runs straight at you and detonates. Incandescent Zealot targets the spacer under the most stress, escalating the moment you're least able to deal with it. They're aggressive, they're volatile, and they aren't just dangerous in combat, they twist the map itself into something alien and unstable. Every turn near them is a risk. Every path becomes a problem, and once the fire spreads, there's no putting it out. Cool, cool. If you want to survive them, you'll need to act fast. Think ahead and make peace with the fact that, one way or another, you are going to get burned. Very cool. Very, very cool. So that'll be the burster one. Born to be wild. Experimental builds, busted combos, and high-risk spacer strategies that really shouldn't work. Yeah, once again, Born to be wild. I think these are all song lyrics. Oh yeah. We've reached that stage of development where testers are no longer just testing content. They're starting to shape it as well. Not with spreadsheets or theory crafting, but through real gameplay experimentation and builds that stretch the system in ways we didn't quite expect. Some make perfect sense, others probably shouldn't work. But they do, and we absolutely love that they do. I love that that's a take that ITU has. One tester told us, I made the right build and shot a guy from 7 spaces away. Another grinned, my character has 3 arms. It's a high-risk build. That's the energy we're seeing now. Confidence, creativity, and a growing sense that the tools are finally sharp enough to cut deep into the layers of strategy. Hong Dao Ming, Security Division. Into the end of your turn, gain +1 to scouting range. Take Hong, combined with the counterattack suit Deadeye. A total bonus of +3 range creates a clean sniper/assassin setup that excels at blip control. He moves in silence, eliminates targets before they activate, and disappears just as quickly. Creating a build that is both efficient and deeply satisfying. Yep, that sounds sweet. Or look at John, who takes any weapon with heavy keyword, normally burdened with penalties, and turns it into a pure damage engine. Thanks to his unlocked progression track ability, the drawbacks vanish, and what should be a clunky, slow setup becomes brutally reliable. Cool. Then there's Noiseless Aubrey in the Black Hole suit, affectionately referred to as the Suicidal Teleporter. Her strategy revolves around teleporting into, and often through, danger, with each jump stacking more stress. But since her progression ability allows her to lower stress every turn, she becomes a slippery phantom, bouncing through walls, we'll say, and pressure doors impossible to pin down. Cool art. I think we've seen this before, but I don't remember for sure, and it looks very cool. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Juliet Move Your Ass Abel, who has evolved into a support powerhouse. Her basic ability lets her push an ally into one space, but when combined with the right movement upgrades and carefully selected gear, she's able to chain together enough effects to move a teammate up to 9 spaces in a single turn. Sometimes, leadership just means giving someone a very hard shove. And yes, the melee build is real. With the right combination of cards, traits, and timing, players can now pull off 2 full melee attacks in a single round. No exploits, no tricks, just clean execution and a lot of close quarters shouting. I do really like the fact that there are valid melee builds, because just from the testing that or the testing of the demo, I didn't really get that vibe. But I remember someone else had commented about having a bunch from behind the scenes too, so that's cool. None of these builds were designed with that specific purpose. They emerged naturally through testing, risk-taking, and testers asking, what's going to happen if I try this? That's what we want, because when a system not only tolerates that kind of experimentation, but rewards it, we know we're on the right track. Smells like a split payment. Teens spare it indeed. You've been asking for it patiently, persistently, and impressively high numbers, so we're happy to confirm that split payment is coming to the Enormity PM around June 19th. That's the date we're aiming for, and everything's on track so far. Very cool. In just a few weeks, you'll be able to spread your pledge across multiple payments instead of settling the full amount at once. Whether you're managing a bigger order, waiting for the right timing, or simply prefer more flexibility, this option should make the process smoother and more accessible. We're currently finishing internal testing to make sure everything works properly once before it goes live. The feature will be added directly to game flight. Thank you for your patience and your relentless reminders. We heard you. The split payment is almost here. Yeah, we talked about this in the previous updates. I don't think they did the best job rolling out the pledge manager. It's easy to say that it's a Herculean amount of effort to make something like this, but just with the combination of prices going up a few weeks after the PM goes live, and then I think the vast majority of North America, at least, and some other areas too, not able to use the stretch feature. So not the best timing, but all in all, I'm sure they'll keep ironing out the kinks, and by the time of the next campaign, maybe it'll be a really smooth thing. Final countdown for Kings Forlorn. Just covered this in a video I think yesterday, so I think we'll just skip right past this. That's it for this transmission spacers, with suits evolving, enemies getting smarter, and builds starting to spiral out of control in the best way possible. Things aboard the Shepherd are heating up, sometimes literally. Between the solar flares, glowing cultists, corrupted consoles, and a preacher who considered himself God, you've got a lot to endure and even more to uncover. Split payment is almost there, campaign systems are locking into place, and the next wave of testing is already underway in KFPM. Until then, stay sharp, stay paranoid, and don't look at the light for too long. Beauty. Well, thank you for tuning in. That's a pretty cool, exciting update, and we'll catch you next time. Bye!